If you have some cool stripe pattern papers in your collections, you're going to want to see what I did with this one to make a rockin' layout. Hi, my name is Alice Boll and I run the membership group at scraphappy.org. I'm excited to show you what I did with this layout because I have so many old paper collections that I think are still awesome and wonderful, and I'm going to guess that you might too. And I think what I did with this layout is super fun and a really cool way to use up one of the papers that can sometimes be a bit of a challenge. In addition to this old collection, it's from 2010. It's called Live Loud. It's from Imagine Us. I also used a sheet of wood grain paper from Simple Stories. So my initial plan was to make these strips of pattern paper using all of the different cool patterns that you see in front of you. And then I realized that this one pattern paper had so many different cool designs on it and different icons that it was really the perfect paper for what I wanted to do. It was pretty much doing it for me already. In addition to using the stripe paper, I wanted to mat the wood grain onto one of the other patterns. Now, this was a bit of a process and I went back and forth a few times. I wanted the green, I wanted the one with the cassettes, I wanted the one with the blue. I finally did settle on the green, but it took me a while. I trimmed 1/2 inch off of 2 sides of the wood grain paper, and then I made sure that it was going to look right on the green paper. I really liked the look. Some of the distressing on the wood grain actually has a little touch of green in it, so it was a really nice fit. And because I'm a little bit frugal at heart, even though I have so much scrapbook paper in my stash that I can never use it all up, I cut out a piece of the green paper just in case I needed it somewhere else on this layout. Now I'm going to stick the wood grain paper to the green paper, and if you have some eagle eyes and if you're really watching, you're going to see that there's a little cut vertically along the right hand side of the wood grain paper, and that's because I made a cut in it and then I changed my mind. No, I wasn't going to do it like that, and so it's there, it's in the background. You're never going to notice it because it's hiding in behind the rest of the page, but I just wanted to show you that this happens to everybody. So it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to have something in there. And when you finish your layout, it's going to be hidden. So who cares? It's all good. So now I take this stripe paper and I measure it up, make sure that I've got it right, and I cut about 4 inches off of it. So now I'm going to use this 8-inch strip for me to cut apart and do a little bit of fun techniques with. And ta-da, that's done. Thank goodness that saved you 5 minutes of your life that you would never have got back if you had to watch that. And here we go. Now we can begin with prepping the pieces to assemble on the page. So the next thing I did was fiddle around forever, making sure that I had all of the strips in the right order that I wanted them to be. And now I'm going to rough up the edges. So I have this distressing tool, which has been in my crafty stash for a million years. It's a distress tool from close to my heart. There's lots of other companies that have had them over the years, but basically it's like a little razor blade with protected edges so you can't hurt anything except for the paper. And I just use it along the edges to really rough up each part of the paper. And now here's where I have to confess, distressing those pieces took a distressing amount of time. I think it was almost 10 minutes. And for me, that's kind of torture because I'm so bored of doing that same thing over and over and over on each of the little pieces. But in the end, it looks good. So it's all worth it, right? And now I fiddle back and forth and for a really, really long time, making sure that the spacing of these little strips is going to be exactly perfect. Next was the taping down process and making sure that all of the ends were kind of uneven, but uneven in a really pleasant way that appealed to my eye. But I'll tell you, taping them down took me forever as well. And there's something that, we'll skip past this part. We'll skip past the taping and we'll get to the rest of the design. Okay, I left the taping of one piece just so you could see the process, right? I've got this tape, I stuck it on the back, I've peeled it off, lined it up, kind of wiggled it around, making sure that it's just right before I finally committed to sticking it down to the sheet. Next up, I'm going to take my 4 photos and mat them onto some cream cardstock. And yeah, I said cream. It's really not my favorite. I don't love working with cream. I really prefer white. But this pattern paper has a cream base to it. And so white would have looked really harsh against it. And so I stuck with the cream and it was a really good decision. So it looks right. And that's important. Make it look right. Next, I spent way too long wiggling my 4 photos around, just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And at the end, I don't even go with what I have right here, so just wait and see, you'll see. But I decided that we needed to matte some of these photos, maybe with a bit of color to bring a little bit more color into this page. So I'm going with this orange pattern paper. It has cassette tapes on it, and I know when it's a matte, you don't really see that, but I think it's pretty fun. So I matte the one photo with orange, and then I decide to turn the other matte actually into a pocket. And that's going to give me a great matte, but it's also going to give me a place for some journaling, because right now this page does not have a home for some journaling, and that's a problem. I have a lot to say for this page, so it's a big problem. I'm making this page for the LOAD223 Space Nerds Challenge. So I'm doing day 19 and I'm being inspired by the Guardians of the Galaxy. So LOAD is our layout a day. So we're scrapbooking every day in February inspired by some kind of space nerd movie or TV show or something. So back to the scrapbooking for 1 second. I'm going to make a tag to put into the pocket. Okay, well, I absolutely love Guardians of the Galaxy and that opening scene where Peter Quill is going to steal the orb and he's got his headphones on and the music is pumping and it's like super fun. I love that scene so much. He's really feeling that music. And so our question of the day, our story prompt of the day is, how does music help get you in the mood for different activities? But keep it PG. None of that. And also for technique, inspired by Groot, use a wood grain or wood veneer on your layout, which obviously I'm doing. So as I scrapbook here, you're going to see me try to fit all 4 of these photos onto the layout, but I'm just not really liking how it feels. And so I shuffle them around a bit, but now that I've got these ones matted with the orange, I really like how that works on the page, but I'm really seeing that 4 photos is just too much. So I whittle this down to 3 photos. I take out the one that maybe it's not the worst photo, but it's the one that least tells the story that I'm trying to tell on this page. So that's the one that gets eliminated. And now it's time for the title. So I find some letters, and I think these ones were maybe from a Vicky Boutin collection. They look very bright and colorful, maybe hers. But I picked the words rise and shine. They're in a orange, kind of an ombre orange that really matched the layout well. And I thought that it really went well with the story that I'm telling. The journaling on my tag says, music is a great way to get me moving. I have playlists for getting going in the morning to help me set the tone for my day, playlists for swimming and going on the treadmill, playlists that get me through the drudgery of housework and laundry, and playlists to help me wind down and relax. Music can lift my spirits and really help to set the tone and intention for my day. I decided that this page needed a subtitle too, so I wanted to add the words music for moving. And so I found some little green box letters to add underneath the rise and shine. I only had one moment of panic when I realized that because I changed the subtitle, I actually hadn't checked to see if I had all of the letters, and I almost didn't have enough O's, but thankfully there was a 0 and it subbed in pretty good. I finally made the commitment and stuck down all of my photos. It was about time, but I tell you, I played with them so much with this layout. I can't believe how much I fiddle around with them. In addition to the journaling that I read to you, I actually included samples of my playlists on my journaling tag because I made the tag so big and I thought, well, let's just fill it up, put lots of stuff on there. So I included samples of some of the songs that were on some of my different playlists, which I think will be really fun when I look back at it later to see like what kind of songs do I listen to now? What songs made me happy at the time? What songs did I want to listen to in the morning to kind of get myself revved up for the day? So I think that's going to be a really good addition to this page. So that's it. And I love the way this page turned out. But then, of course, I sit down to do my journaling, and there's always a couple of finishing touches that I come across when I sit down to do the journaling. I looked up, and in some of the leftovers on my desk, I found some of the perfect puffy stickers, and then I found the perfect words to add to the edge of one of the photos. And then I'm like, well, we were supposed to be using wood grains or wood veneers. So what if I used wood grains and wood veneers? And I happened to have these perfect little music notes. It was in some multi-pack of wood veneers that I got from the dollar store. And they were just the little finishing touch that this page needed. Here's a quick peek at some of the journaling I have on the tag. But really, when it comes down to it, how cool is this to take a piece of stripe pattern paper like this and turn it into a rockin' layout like this one? If you like my scrappy style and you want to see more of what I do, or maybe get involved with our Scrap Happy family, maybe participate in one of these amazing load challenges, trust me, they are so much fun and I would love to have you join us. So come and check it out at scraphappy.org. You can hook up with me on Instagram at Alice Boll. And of course, you can hit like and subscribe on this video and connect with me right here on YouTube. Our next load challenge starts in May, and I get to announce the theme in mid-March, and I cannot wait because it is such a fun topic and it's going to inspire so many great scrapbook pages. I'll have all the links below this video, but let me know, have you ever taken a piece of pattern paper like this and turned it into a layout that absolutely rocked? What kind of layout were you making? I'd love to know. Until next time, happy scrapping!